I am the Senate.
Not yet.
It's treason, then.
Get your fat ass back here.
In Week 4, Grok got its revenge, but Week 5 has a slate of good games. What'll happen next week? Stay tuned. This was the first week that Grok's played safe strategy really paid off for Grok, correctly predicting 4 out of 5 winners, all 4 of which were the favorites from the betting lines. The only game that it missed, that I made up for, as you'll see in a minute, was the Texas Tech beatdown of Utah. Meanwhile, I only correctly predicted 2 games, Texas Tech beating Utah and Miami beating Florida. But because Texas Tech was an underdog to Utah, I got 7 bonus points, bringing my total to 25 points. So actually not too far off from Grok's total score. Alright, now let's take a look at the cumulative score so far. So obviously Grok made up some ground last week, but I'm still at 121 and Grok is at 102. As you can see on the bottom chart, obviously my predictions were way off the betting lines last week, which probably had something to do with why I performed so poorly. And as you'll see, that trend is going to sort of continue in Week 5, but I'm hoping that some of my predictions start paying off because I'm taking more underdogs. On the other hand, it could be that now that the betting markets have more and more actual game data from the real games and teams, it's going to get riskier and riskier for me to choose so many underdogs. The first matchup this week is USC traveling to Champaign, Illinois to take on the Illini, where USC is an almost touchdown favorite. In its reasoning, Grok said that USC was 2-1 and that Illinois was 3-0, so it didn't even account for the fact that both teams have had 4 games so far. But even so, I guess based on the betting lines, Grok likes USC just about by the betting margins. And I also like USC, but by a smaller margin. Ohio State and Washington are both coming into this matchup 3-0. And interestingly, the betting line only has Ohio State by 8, which is surprising given how dominant Ohio State has been so far. This game is being played in Seattle, so there's a little bit of an advantage there for the Huskies, but as you'll see here in the predictions, Grok and I like Ohio State by almost the exact same margin and to win big. Next is LSU traveling to Oxford to take on Ole Miss. And there's a little extra spice in this week's matchup as Lane Kiffin's daughter started publicly dating the star linebacker for LSU, Whit Weeks. And you can see here Lane Kiffin saying take the over. So I'm not taking the over necessarily, but I do think that the Rebels get it done against LSU, who I think has been a little bit overrated so far this year. The Crimson Tide travel to Athens, where I think Georgia and its very impressive running game bring the Crimson Tide back down to earth. Obviously, Grok and I are both choosing Georgia in this game, but I think Georgia wins in fairly dominant fashion, 34-21, whereas Grok thinks just by 4, 27-23. Last is the matchup that I think I heard talking heads talk about the most over the summer, which is Oregon traveling to Penn State. In this case, I look at the big game histories of both head coaches, and frankly, I think Dan Lanning has the advantage over James Franklin, who has always been accused of never really winning the big ones. And while I would like to see that change for him and for Penn State fans, frankly, I don't see it happening against Oregon and their explosive attack. So give me Oregon 35-28. As you can see, Grok is taking Penn State by 3, pretty close to the betting margin. All right, that's it for me this week. Who do you have in your picks? Let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I'll see you next week.